By definition, first see I'll just explain you what are all the terms, then we'll directly get into the problems. First thing, the minute you think on diastereomers, one thing that should come to your mind is they are not mirror images, and it may be optically active or they may be optically inactive also. Next, if they are not mirror images of each other and they are in fact stereoisomers, then we call them as diastereomers. Now, diastereomers can be geometrical kind also and optical kind also. In short, if you see a cis isomer, cis and trans isomer, they are geometrical isomers, but they are not mirror images of each other, yet they are stereoisomers. Therefore, we can call them as diastereomers. And there are certain optical isomers which are not mirror images of each other. They would be diastereomers as well. Okay. So this basic understanding all of us must have. Okay, everybody. Next, when it comes to diastereomers, they will have different physical and chemical properties. How can you justify that? Suppose if we take an if we take a cis molecule here and compare that with trans molecule, methyl, uh, sorry, this is cis and that is trans. Yeah. So if you compare these two, the dipole moment is different for both of them. Because of difference in the dipole moment, we have seen this before also, there would be difference in the properties, boiling point, melting point, density, everything would be different in these cases. Exactly the same thing follows for diastereomers. So in diastereomers, what you'll observe that there is a difference in their physical and chemical properties. Correct? Now, usually when you have, if you just recall the separation methods which we learned earlier, if there is any difference in the boiling point between two molecules, we can separate them from a mixture, right? So if the boiling point difference is at least up to 30 units, we can use fractional distillation. 13 to 30 units, we can use fractional distillation. So using fractional distillation, we can separate out because this cis and trans may have different boiling points. All of you got that logic? Yeah. Right. So mostly, what are the types of separation methods we will be using? Fractional distillation, chromatography, or crystallization. Most of the questions that comes from diastereomers, you would be asked to do fractional distillation only. So using fractional distillation, how many of the molecules can be separated? These are the type of questions that would be asked. Right? Suppose if you have a single chiral center like A, B, C, D, if you check it out, in single chiral center, if you check out the mirror image, both these two are called enantiomers. So if I take this as 1 and 2, we call this 1 and 2 as enantiomers. So uh, in case of single chiral center, diastereomers cannot be existing. But if there are multiple chiral centers, then diastereomers will come into existence. Okay, students. So if you have two chiral centers, then interchanging the position or interchanging the configuration at one carbon leads to diastereomers. And that is how we will get the diastereomers in multiple chiral centers. Check out in this case, A, B, C, D molecules are given here, and I'm supposed to find out the relation between all the set of molecules, like what is AB, AC, AD, then BC, BD, then CD. Okay, if at all we have to find the relation between them, first we will check out if there are any mirror images forming here. So we can clearly find out that these two are mirror images of each other and these two are mirror images of each other. Okay, now let's see what are the forms which we will give us. First, I know that C and D are mirror images of each other. Also, there is no plane of symmetry anywhere here. Since there is no plane of symmetry and these two are mirror images of each other, I can say these two are enantiomers. So these two would be enantiomers. And any non-mirror images can definitely be categorized into diastereomers. For example, if I take A, and compare that with C. A, compare that with D. Because they are not mirror images, they has to be diastereomers. So therefore, if at all I say AC, they are diastereomers. AD, they are diastereomers. Similarly, the case with BC also, BD also. So BC is also diastereomer. Okay, BD is also diastereomer. Then what about A and B? They are mirror images, but they have a plane of symmetry. Correct? Please understand the definition of enantiomers. Enantiomers are those species or those stereoisomers which should be mirror images of each other and also optically active. Very important condition for enantiomers. But in this case between A and B, they are mirror images, but they are not optically active. Why? Because there is a plane of symmetry coming, so it does not show chirality. No chirality, no optical activity. So therefore, AB should be what form better?
Identical.
AB are identical. And what do we call those type of identical forms? Mesoforms.
Meso. Meso ID.
Very good. So these are mesoforms which are
Mesoforms.
identicals. Very good. So I suppose all of you got this idea now. Now, see what are the types of diastereomers we'll come across. Basically, we have different names for different types of diastereomers also. Let us just focus on those terms here. Suppose one of the important type is erythro and threo. Erythro are the names which we will use when they are on the same side in the Fischer projection. For example, if you see these two methyl with respect to this vertical line, these two OH groups are on the same side. So I would call this molecule as erythrokind. These are erythro and this is also erythrokind. If they are opposite to each other, I would call them as threo. These are threokinds. Everybody understood that? So we have erythrokind and threokind. These two erythrokinds are mesoforms. These two threokinds are enantiomeric forms. But if you compare any erythro with threo, this erythro with this threo, this erythro with this threo, what would they be? They will always be diastereomers. So that's why any erythro, if you compare that with a threo, it will always be an diastereomer of each other. Everybody understood this form, what I'm saying? Okay. When do we say erythro? When do we say threo? Is this point clear? All of you. For example, if at all I give the configuration, okay, here, same question, if we just go back, suppose, let us assume that if this is R and this is S configuration, what would be this configuration here? It would be S and R configuration. Okay. Now here also, if we say this is R and R configuration, what would this configuration be? This will be S and S configuration. Clear? Now when you put it on the mirror, R will change to S, S will change to R, right dear? So if at all we are not changing at least on one position, then we will get diastereomers. Got it? So I can always say this in case of any combinations, if at all I take RS on one molecule and if I take RS of other molecule, right, then what would these two be? Suppose if there is, sorry, RR of one molecule and RS of other molecule, right? So then what would be this set? This should always be diastereomers. Similarly, if at all I take SS of one set, SS of one molecule and RS of the other molecule, that will also be diastereomer. Okay. If I take one mesoform plus one optically active molecule, that will also be diastereomer. Okay. If at all I take some pseudo form, pseudo R, and if at all I take some pseudo S of the other molecule, they will also be diastereomer. So these are all the combinations which will give diastereomers. Clear, everybody? Okay.
Sir, what are the pseudo or pseudo else?
Okay. Next one, I think I've put pseudo only. Yeah, here I have put it. I'll discuss it there. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
sir.
check out the relation between these. Suppose if at all I have to find out what is the relation between these four, A, B, C. Let us try to find out what is the relation between these four, A, B, C, D here. AB, AC, AD, BC, BD, and DC and CD. Check first one, AB, how they are related, everyone. See here, this is going inside. Okay. I can show it in terms of lines, or I can show it in terms of 3 dimension. Both you should understand. It is like hydrogen is going up, methyl is coming down. Here methyl is going up, hydrogen is coming down. Just like that, compare these two now. So if you compare these two here, methyl is going up, methyl is coming down. So these two are enantiomers of each other, right? So A and B are enantiomers. Very good. Next, if we check out A and C,
Diastereomers.
diastereomers. A and D, the minute I flip it up, if at all I bring this up, right, then methyl will go up, this methyl will come down. So which is the B form now? Can you see B and D are identical?
Yes, sir.
Everybody is able to see that B and D are nothing but identical. Okay. So therefore A and D will be same as A and B. So what are those? Enantiomers. Next, B and C.
Diastereomers.
Very good. So B and C are diastereomers. B and D, identical. They are identical. Okay. And CD,
Diastereomers.
diastereomers. Right. So these are diastereomers. Here, suppose if at all I write one more molecule here, okay, where I have 2 methyls up and 2 hydrogens down. Here, if at all I asked, this is E, let's say, C and E, what they are?
Mesomer.
These are mesoforms.
Identical
and mesoforms, yes. Why identical? Because they are superimposable. That's true. So they will be superimposable, correct? And because they have configuration, they will have RS configuration here. So we can say they are mesoforms. Clear, everyone?
So can we say CD are
CE,
conformers? CD, sir.
C and D.
So B and D, can we say they are conformers?
B and D, no, they are not conformers, because you are not rotated any bond, right? You have just changed the molecule into different plane. When you rotate any bond, then you will get conformers, no beta. See, always put it on the same view and check. So what you will do here, first you will rotate it by 180. Correct. So you will rotate it by 180 degrees. So this bromine will go inside, chlorine will come outside. Understood? So A and B are what? Enantiomers only. A and C, enantiomers. B and C, identical.
A and B are not enantiomers.
देखो बेटा, if you rotate this by 180 degrees, this chlorine will come down and this bromine will come up. So bromine which is coming out will go inside now. So after rotating, this will be the new molecule. AB only beta. B, when I'm saying, I'm not able to compare because chlorine is down here now. So to compare with A, first I'm rotating it by 180 degrees. Then I will get this image. This is also B only. I've just rotated it. Okay. Clear beta? So now A and B is this, what I can compare. Okay. Now see the next one.
Sir?
Yes, beta.
So in previous question, So can we do this like this? If we rotate A by 180 degrees, we get bromine inside and chlorine outside.
Correct.
But they gave quite opposite.
Right.
So we can say that they're enantiomers.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay, sir.
You can do the same thing with B. You can do the same thing with A also. Okay. Let us compare this. PQ, PR, QR. Fast.
PQ enantiomers, sir.
So PQ enantiomers, sir.
PQ enantiomers.
Okay.
Enantiomers.
PQ are enantiomers and QR
Enantiomers. Identical, sir.
Diastereomers.
Pure identical.
Diastereomers.
Identical.
yeah diastereomers. Okay. Now with respect to this chiral center, is there any change in terms of distance from here to here? Or are there two different groups or same groups? If you go from this
So
end,
that is not a chiral center, no, sir.
that's where I'm coming now. Is it a chiral center or not?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. If you are going from this end, now check out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here you are getting a cis form, right? Cis, which means Z. But if you're going from this end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're getting which form? Trans form, right? Which means it is E isomer. So from this end, if you go, I'll get cis isomer. This end, I'll get trans isomer. Which is more preferred between E and Z? Z is more preferred than E.
Z is more.
Yes. Which means although the groups are same, because their cis and trans forms are different. If you go from this direction and this direction, still you will consider this as chiral center. Everybody got this? Priority order. Remember priority order. When you are not able to decide on the basis of molecule, then you have to check out their structure, how their orientation is. If one side it is Z, one side it is E, then you have to decide on the basis of Z and E. Clear? Now I can
Sir,
tell.
what criteria are you deciding the priority, sir?
If you have 4 different groups, carbon having 4 different groups, one side there is methyl, one side there is H, this side also there is R, this side also there is R, as per this question. Now between these two R's, if there is any differentiating factors, then I can call this as a chiral center. Yes or no? Now, the only
Yes, sir.
differentiating factor which I'm seeing, if I go from this end, I will get a Z isomer. If I go from this end, I will get an E isomer. So this is like RZ and this is RE. Same alkyl group.
Sir, like we say sp3 carbon also you can say. No?
So in that case, they have a different rotation beta. So this will also show chirality. So now tell me what is the answer. So PQ are definitely enantiomers.
Enantiomers.
QR are also. They are enantiomers or identical?
Sir,
Check now.
they are identical, sir.
Because the minute if you take out here and rotate it by 180 degrees, you will get the same molecule. Q and R are same. With
Yes,
respect
sir.
to this axis, rotated by 180 degrees. So this double bond will come this side. The one which is coming out will go inside.
Yes, sir. Identical.
So these are identical, right? Now P and R will become
Enantiomers.
Very good. Come to the next question now. A and B. Tell me the relation between A and B. Fast. We have to do these questions as soon as we can. Okay. Here OH is going up, OH is coming down here. So configuration will change with respect to this. But are there any other chiral centers? This is also chiral center. This is also chiral center. PQ, PR, and QR.
PQ diastereomers.
PQ are diastereomers.
PR diastereomers.
Here diastereom.
Yeah, diastereomers. QR.
Diastereomers.
So
Diastereomers.
diastereomers. Very good. So all these three are diastereomers of each other. Okay. Now coming to the mesoforms. So when it comes to mesoform, what we expect, there should be at least 2 chiral centers. and there must be there must be symmetry existing in between them, and it will be optically inactive. And due to why it is optically inactive? Because of internal compensation, and it is an optical isomer. It is counted as an optical isomer. Clear? This also we discussed earlier. So we'll just go through a few questions here. Check out. Now, if you
Sir?
check out this, beta.
Sir, if two chiral centers are there, how can we say directly it is optically active or optically inactive?
For you can check out this example only, na beta. If you see in here, this molecule, this has two chiral centers, but there is a plane of symmetry passing. So this will be optically inactive. Here there are two chiral centers. No plane of symmetry, no center of symmetry. So
That means we need to check plane of symmetry and center of symmetry also, sir.
For any chiral molecule, you have to always check plane of symmetry and center of symmetry. Okay.
Sir, like if we have one chiral center, we can say directly it is as optical.
Yes, beta. In one chiral center, it is easier, na, because there is no other form it can get. Correct?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
But only if you have multiple chiral centers, then you have to check out carefully. Tell me about this AB fast. We know this. We have done it before, so I'm just repeating.
Diastereomers.
AB diastereomers.
PC diastereomers.
BC.
Enantiomers.
PC identity.
We know that two meso cannot be enantiomers, but they will be identical. So if you check out these two, because of their internal compensation, here there is an internal compensation here and here. Both sides, up and down, groups are same. So if light rotates with theta degrees here, it will rotate with minus theta with respect to this molecule. So overall, when it comes out, it would come with zero angle. So that's why it is optically inactive. So both of these molecules will be optically out of this question fast. Okay, not more than 2 minutes. You have to find out how many of these are mesoforms. Okay, I'll just give the numbering to everyone. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Yeah, out of this P, mesoform?
No.
No. For mesoform, what do you search? Plane of
Symmetry.
Right, so it is not a mesoform. First one, not a mesoform. Second one?
No.
No.
Yes, sir.
Is it a plane of symmetry? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Next one.
Yes, sir.
You can see plane of symmetry.
Yes, sir.
So this is also a mesoform. Fast. Next one.
No.
No.
No, sir.
No. Molecules are different. This one.
Yes, sir.
C, everybody.
Sir, for E, no, sir.
No, sir. Sir, not meso for E.
Sure, for E. No, not meso. Very good. Next.
Yes, sir.
Here, is it a meso?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Not a mesoform. Okay. Next here.
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Not a mesoform. No plane of symmetry there also. Next. H. H, is it a
No, sir.
mesoform?
No, sir.
No. Next. I.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
there is a mesoform here. Next. J.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
There is
Yes,
a
sir.
mesoform here, plane of symmetry. You see. Next. K.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. From this end, there is a plane of symmetry.
At the middle.
Correct. Here, L.
Sir.
Sir.
Right. There is a plane of symmetry passing through this. Yes. Okay. M.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. N.
Yes, sir.
N.
No.
No, sir.
Check again.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you just rotate it, come on to the same direction. Okay. Next. What about here?
Yes,
Sir, how N will come, sir, once?
You rotate this hydrogen by 180 degrees. Methyl will also come here, OH will come here. So all will be exactly on the eclipsed form, fully eclipsed form. Correct?
Okay, okay.
See, while searching the plane,
But
now
in
you
this
can rotate.
conformity, it is not also, no, sir.
Listen, when it is searching the plane, you can rotate it. But for center of symmetry, you should not rotate it. Okay? You can just put it and check it out. Now, in this case, right, what I'm saying, is there a possibility or not? That's all I'm checking. If we go with the composition, definitely Gauss should be more stable. And on the Gauss form, if you look out, there would be some amount of chirality shown.
Light.
But our objective is only whether this can exhibit meso or not. Okay. So OH, methyl, methyl, hydrogen, hydrogen. They all can come at one place.
There.
Question is whether they can exhibit or not. Okay. Yeah. Tell me.
So in O case, last but one. So if we rotate that OH by anti-clockwise 60 degrees, then they will both coincide, no sir?
But this H is matching methyl. Methyl is matching H, so it will
Then
not have plane of symmetry, no?
So then if we consider a plane passing through 2 OH,
Passing through 2 OH, okay?
then that 2 methyl groups will not be on same plane as a, I mean mirror image to each other, reflection like.
No, they should be on the same carbon, then they will be same. On the back carbon, front you are rotating like this, right? You have OH, OH, methyl, sorry, H, and methyl, methyl, and H. This is how it is, right? What you're saying is, why can't I take this plane, correct? Where OH and OH are present. Is this what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
If at all I take that one, this methyl and this methyl are on different carbons, understood? If they are on the same carbon, here methyl is there, then I can say they are reflection of each other. Clear? But this methyl and this methyl are not on the same carbon, although they are at the right angles, but they are not the exact reflection.
Sir, if those 2 methyl groups are side by side, then plane of symmetry exists.
Yes. Then it won't be chiral only, no?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay.
I mean in a case of last one, sir, by rotating.
Then it will be, plane of symmetry will exist. Methyl will come here. Now this time plane of symmetry will exist, not with respect to oxygen. Between the carbons you will have now, like this. Here it will be like this. OH, OH, methyl, methyl, hydrogen, hydrogen. So between this you will have plane of symmetry. Between carbon and carbon. Okay?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Right. Now let us see about pseudo-chiral centers. Okay. So chiral centers whose chirality depends on the others configuration, right? So that is when we call it as pseudo-chiral centers. Now, if you check out here, in this case, this chiral center and this chiral center is perfectly fine. But if you check out this carbon, whether this is chiral center or not depends upon these two. So we will call this kind of center as pseudo-chiral center. We call it as pseudo-chiral center. Okay. Otherwise, simply if you ask chiral centers, you will take these two. If nothing is mentioned, like configuration, nothing is mentioned. If you were asked what is the number of chiral centers, you will take this one and this one. Only two of them. Okay. Now let us understand this. Suppose by structure, if at all I gave you, by Fisher projection I gave you, see
Sir.
what is the configuration. Beta.
How that will become chiral center, sir? Both sides same.
This one is chiral center, na? Br, CH3, some
The
group
middle
and
one.
H. Middle one is not chiral center. I didn't write, na? Chiral centers are only two. This is called pseudo-chiral center, but that exist or not depends upon their configurations. If we have S configuration up and R configuration down. And you know that priority order R is greater than S. So you can see this entire group is priority 1. This entire group is priority 2. Sorry, first bromine, right? Bromine is the first priority. Then this is priority 2, priority 3, and hydrogen is fourth priority. Based on that, if you check out on this carbon, you will get an anti-clockwise direction rotation. So hence it is S configured. I have directly written the result, but I hope you understood how it has come from. Clear, everybody? Are you following this? If above is S, below is R, correct? Then this middle one would be S here, S configured. You can do that manually also. Just write down this chiral center with bromine, hydrogen, this group and this group. Give this to be more priority compared to this one. Okay, everyone? Now, if that is the case, see the next one here. If this is S, this is R. If bromine is on the left hand side, you will get this as R. Which means this carbon is getting recognized as a chiral center only if these two are different. The above ones are different. If they are same, then there will be definitely a plane of symmetry here, and this group is also same, so you do not count it as a chiral center anymore. Okay, so if this structure is given, if this Fischer projection is mentioned, and then you were asked how many chiral centers you have, now you will say there are 3 chiral centers, out of which 2 are real and 1 is pseudo. And how they are related to each other, beta? A and B, are they enantiomers, mesoforms? What are they?
Diastereomers.
Right, they are
Diastereomers.
diastereomers. Very good. So A and B here are diastereomers. Next. All of you got that point? Now, check this. If you were asked what are the number of chiral centers here, what you will say? You will say only 2 chiral centers. Right? Because molecule which is R above and below, even their configuration is also same. So then that is not counted as a pseudo chiral center. So there are only 2 real chiral centers. What about this D and E now? Here also there are only 2 chiral centers and both are real. Okay. Now tell me the relation fast. AB you have already told me. AC, AD, AE.
So AD diastereomers, sir.
Okay. AB was dia.
Sir, AC diastereomers.
AC dia. AD, AD dia. AE also?
Dia.
Okay. Clear, everybody? So how to consider pseudo? I hope all of you understood that. What is the learning from here is that if two groups are different, if configurations are different with respect to this center carbon, then only they will have pseudo chiral centers. Otherwise, if two of them are same here, then you will consider only has 2 chiral centers here and 2 chiral centers here. Here you will consider as 3 chiral centers and 3 chiral centers. This is the observation which we have seen. Clear, guys? Okay, now let us come to this point now. Tell me, in this how many chiral centers are there? First one.
3.
Here, everybody. First, here if imagine you don't know, you haven't worked out, but I'm just assuming it is R. If this is R, what will be this configuration? Without doing any analysis, you should be able to tell me.
S.
S or R?
S.
Go back here. When bromine
Sir,
is on
sir.
both sides, check out properly. When bromine is on both sides, the same side, then up one will be S, down one will be R. Or up one will be R, down one will be S. Remember that way. You don't have to waste time in calculating. Now, if both of them are opposite, both should be R or both should be S. Okay. Everybody understood that? Without solving, you just need to see if first chiral center and the last chiral center groups are opposite, both will be same configuration, either both R or both S. So now tell me how many chiral centers?
2 chiral centers.
Two chiral centers. Very good. Next one.
So
Two chirals.
Two chiral centers only. Does this molecule make any
Maybe
difference?
one pseudo.
This side group is same. This side group is same. Okay. If you put it on the Fisher projection, got it? This carbon, and this carbon, if you put it on Fisher projection, got it? Would that be? If these two groups are coming on the same side, if they are coming on the same side, what is that be? It will be R and S, right? They will be different. If this is R, this will be S. Or if this is S, this would be R. Clear? In that case, this chiral center would be, can I say this will be chiral center?
yes, sir.
Right. So how many chiral centers now?
3.
3.
Okay.
Two real, one pseudo.
Yeah. 2 real, 1 pseudo. Yes. But if the question is asked, you want in JEE, they won't ask what is pseudo. Okay. They'll directly ask what are chiral centers. Okay. Without calculating, without writing all of this R and S, you should be able to do it fast. Okay. What about next one? Fast. No,
Three,
no,
sir.
your answer should go
3
fast.
sir.
Sir.
Next one. Chiral centers. Fast.
4 sir.
This time?
4.
4. Because this time there is no pseudo chiral center. Is there any pseudo chiral center here? No.
No, sir.
No
These
sir.
are mesoforms. Agreed. But mesoforms will have regular chiral centers. Here, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Right. Next, fifth one. Chiral centers.
5 sir.
5 sir.
5. All of them are different. There is no mesoforms coming. Next, chiral centers.
3.
3.
3. Very
3
good.
sir.
So you should be able to answer this that fast. Okay, everyone. Okay. Clear? Any doubt with pseudo now? Okay. So assume I take that as an S. Now comes the complete calculation of all the forms: enantiomers, diastereomers, total pairs, number of fractions, total number of optical isomers. Everything we will calculate with respect to a molecule. Okay. So, and we will follow the same algorithm for all the questions. So one question you will do along with me. Second question you have to do it on your own. So try this one. We will calculate the entire analysis of stereoisomers. Take this question. For that, you always need to find out number of stereogenic centers. Stereogenic centers. What are stereogenic centers? Number of pi bonded geometrical isomers plus
3 degree.
number of chiral centers. Yes, everybody? Correct. So now
Yes,
check
sir.
this out. So total number of stereo isomers, how many you will have? 2 raised to power of 2, because n is 2 here. So therefore 4. Number of stereogenic centers n here is 2. All of you got this? Okay. So these 4 now start expressing this way. R and R I will have. R and S I will have. S and R I will have. And S and S I will have. Correct? These are the 4 different configurations they can have. Clear?
Yes, sir.
These 2 pairs will be enantiomers. These 2 pairs will be enantiomers. Yes or no? So that is
Yes.
our next question. Total number of enantiomer pairs. How
2
many?
pairs.
2 pairs. Very good. Okay. Next. Based on that, the next question. Total number of pairs, including all enantiomers, diastereomers, all the types of pairs. How many pairs you can get? Just now you did binomial theorem, you should be able to tell me. 4C2, right?
6.
Right. So there are 2 combinations I have to make, and there are 4 different ways I can do it. So how much? 6 pairs. Here, everyone. Right.
Sir,
Next.
total number of pairs means what it all includes?
Total number of pairs includes all of them, na beta? Like if at all I take this molecule and this molecule, 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, 4 pair, 5 pair, 6 pair.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Next one. E. Check out number of diastereomeric pairs. See, number
4
of
pairs.
diastereomeric pairs, you can always write it as total pairs minus enantiomeric pairs. That's why I'm following this algorithm, so that, you know, on this algorithm we can get all the things which we need. So total pairs are 6, enantiomeric pairs are 2. So how many pairs of diastereomers I can get?
4 pairs.
4 pairs. Next, E, F. Keep writing with me, everyone. Sorry, this is D, E. Next, number of fractions on fractional distillation. How many number of fractions you will get? Which means according to fractional distillation, how many compounds you will get? How many compounds you can separate? How many you can separate?
4.
Can you separate all 4? There are only 4 compounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of these 4, tell me, can you separate RS and SR?
Sir, no, sir.
No. Can you separate RR and SR? SS?
Yes, sir.
No. I'm saying RR and SS.
No, sir.
Sir, no,
That
sir.
is also enantiomer, no? This is enantiomer, this is enantiomer. So you cannot separate enantiomers. So I'll get only two fractions. Okay? I'll get 2 fractions. One fraction will have RR and SS. One will have RS and SR. So how many fractions I will get? Only 2 fractions.
Sir,
Yes, beta.
fractional distillation is used for diastereomeric pairs.
Diastereomeric pairs, exactly.
4 types of diastereomeric pairs we have. No, sir.
But there are only 4 compounds. I am saying how many compounds you can separate, no?
Okay.
Pairs you can get
Fractions
4.
means compounds.
Yeah. Everyone understood that? Any doubt there?
So once can you explain that last part, sir, fractions?
Okay. Basically, I have this distillation column and I have 4 compounds. Compound 1 is RS, compound 2 is SR, compound 3 is RR, compound 4 is SS. These are 4 compounds present in the solution. You are heating that. Okay. And you are trying to take them at 2 different columns, at 2 different places. The one which has lower boiling point will come out from here. If at all I take distillation column in which I have this 4 compounds, I have SS, RS, SR and RR, right beta? Now what I'm doing from this column, distillation column, I'm trying to separate the compounds out at 2 different, this fractional distillation, which means at 2 different locations. I'm trying to find out, you know, like this I will have different trace here. Right, like this will have different trace, and at different trace we are trying to find out how much will be the what are the different compounds I can separate out. Now first, the one which has lower boiling point will come out of it. The second molecule will come out of it. Third will come out of it. Fourth will come out of from here, and so on. Now question is, like that, how many fractions? This is one fraction, fraction 1. This is fraction 2. This is fraction 3. This is fraction 4. I hope you understood what I'm trying to say. Now question is, how many such fractions you will get? if you take these 4 compounds. Clear, beta? I'll get only 2 fractions now, because SS, RR, you cannot separate out because they are enantiomers. They will have same boiling point. So imagine they came here. So I'll get only 1 fraction. RS and SR, they will have different boiling points. These they will come from here. And the compounds are done.
Sir, we can separate RR, RS and RR, SR, no sir.
RR,
RS and RR, SR.
Correct.
Those two and SS, RS and SS, SR. Muttam and total 4 are possible, no sir.
No, I'm saying you have only 4 compounds now. Now when you're taking it, when you're taking in a solution, mixture of solution, you have only 4 compounds. Correct? Now after you heat it, what will come here? You will get, if RR is coming, imagine if RR is coming, SS will also come here only, na beta?
Yes sir.
And here, let's say RS is coming, then SR will also come here only, no?
Number of fractions asked means number of enantiomeric pairs we can write because we can't separate them.
Exactly. Okay. Suppose that's why these arrows I have represented. Got it? These two you cannot separate, these two you cannot separate, which means this will come as one package, this will come as one package. So how many packages you will get? You'll get 2 packages. So those 2 are fractions. Try this. First one, number of stereoisomers. Second, number of enantiomeric pairs. Next, number of pairs, number of diastereomers, number of fractions.
Sir, total number 8.
Total number 8. Because n is 3.
Enantiomeric pairs 4.
4 enantiomeric pairs.
Power of 3, 8.
Number of
So
pairs.
enantiomeric pairs 4. Please
4,
write
sir.
all of them. All of them properly, show it. This you should make it a practice. First,
Sir,
imagine
Diastereomeric pairs.
RR, RS, SR and SS. This is how we write down. Next, from here, write RRR. Okay, first Rajamouli movie. Next, RRS. Right. Next here. What are these? RSR and RSS. Next here, which is SRR, SRS. Next here, SSR, SSS. So you can, why I'm writing this way, so that I can match it easily. What are the enantiomers? Okay, so you can see these are all the respective enantiomers. Got that, everyone? Right. So number of enantiomers you got 4. Very good. Next, total number of pairs.
So 28. 28.
28 pairs. Very good. So how many diastereomeric pairs you can get?
24.
24 pairs you can get. Very good. Number of fractions you can get?
4, sir.
4. You can just check out from here, because you cannot separate
4.
these enantiomers. So only 4. 4 different pairs. Answers, answers. Not so late. You have to do it so fast. Come on.
Sir, first one 4 sir.
Okay. How many stereogenic centers?
2.
Only 2.
Yes sir.
4, sir.
3, sir.
3.
3, sir.
3, sir. Double bond is also there.
4.
4,
4, sir.
1,
4,
3,
sir.
sir.
4, sir.
3. Stereogenic, I said, not stereo centers.
3, sir.
Stereo centers are 4. Stereogenic centers are 3. Here we don't have any role with stereo centers. Okay, we need stereogenic centers. So number of stereogenic centers. How many beta? 3.
3, sir.
So 2 raised to power of 3. So how many you got? 8.
8.
Sir, what about the cyclic thing?
That I have considered, no? On that cyclic only there are 2 chiral centers.
Sir, not chiral centers. I'm telling unrestricted restricted rotation.
That will be taken care of. Good question, beta. Usually when you are taking care of optical isomers, na, that will automatically will get geometrical. You don't have to reconsider that. Understood? Two only now, right? Because this is not a chiral center. Only chiral centers are with respect to these two. Got it? So what are the two forms which I have? RR, RS, SR, SS. This, right? Next, total number of pairs. So how many you will get? 8C2. So 28 pairs. Next, how many diastereomers?
26.
All 26, everybody? Yes. We'll have 26 diastereomers. Next, number of fractions. Now is an interesting case. Tell me.
2, sir.
2.
Only two fractions?
Yes, sir. RRSS, RSS, sir.
Chalo. Here, while writing those 8 compounds, I have to showcase cis and trans also, no? Now check this. RR cis, RR trans, RS cis, RS trans, SR cis, SR trans, SS cis, SS trans. Right, beta? Now, if you have same molecule, RR and SS with cis, then only you will call it as enantiomer. Yes or no? Everybody? Only these two are enantiomers here. Same way, if you have RR trans and SS trans, correct? Then only that is an enantiomer. Everybody, are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Right. Same way, RS and cis and RS and cis, SR and cis, this should be enantiomer. And these two should be enantiomers. Everybody got this? All of you understood that? Now tell me, so how many enantiomeric pairs we have actually? 2 or 4?
4, sir.
Four pairs we have.
4.
Yeah. See the usual mistake now. Got it? Next. How many fractions you can get now?
4, sir.
4.
Okay. You can definitely get 4 fractions now. Clear, everyone? Right.
Sir,
Sir, stereomers 24, no, sir.
IST.
Diastereomers 24. Sorry.
24.
Yeah. You want to do one
can't
by
we
one?
expect can't we expect same boiling point for any of the two fractions in those 4?
Come again.
Sir, can't we expect same boiling point for any of the two enantiomeric pairs?
They will be, na? They will be same. This and this will have same boiling point. This will have same boiling point. These two will be same boiling point. These two will be same boiling point. Got it? That's why you will get this one separated together. This will separate together. This will come together. This will come together. Like that, I'll get 4 different fractions.
So no, sir. I want to tell that, sir, as cis has high boiling point, no, sir.
Yes, dear.
Sir, let S be the lower boiling point one, sir. Sir, then there would be difference between RRC and SSC. Sorry, there would be same. Let it be the difference be same, sir. I mean to say, sir.
Achha, this is cis, this is cis. Then does the RR and SS will impact that or not? That is what you're asking?
Yes, sir. Thing and RRC and can SST be same, sir.
Cis and cis same. And if the stereo, enantiomeric part is also same, then the entire molecule will have same physical features. Yeah.
So can RRC boiling point same as SST, sir?
No, they are different.
So
RRC
let's
will be,
say S has a high boiling point, but Cis has high boiling point. Then there would be some leveling, no, sir.
that is anyway separated, no, beta. I am separating out RRC and SST. They will be separated out differently. They are not same.
Okay.
Clear
sir.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes.
They will have different boiling point. Yeah.
Sir,
Yes, dear.
in previous case,
Mm-hmm.
so total number of enantiomeric pairs are 4 or 2, sir? Yes.
Okay. Because you have 8 different molecules, na beta, you have to consider the cis part also. So that's when it becomes, you know, this carbon should also, I mean, this cis also should taken into account. So taking that cis and cis, then only you can call it as an enantiomer. Understood? So
So
that's why
then
there are
beside of
4.
that beside of that you have taken only 2 pairs, no, sir? That's why I'm asking.
This one. No, this is the initial representation. After that, again, if you combine with cis and this, these two, this will get, okay?
Okay, sir.
Next. So first question, number of stereoisomers. Second, enantiomeric pairs. Third, total pairs. D, dash stereomeric pairs. E, number of fractions. See, first write cis and trans. Then, if you have cis, what are the possibilities here? I can have R and R. I can have S and R. I can have R and S or S and S, correct? And suppose if you have R and R here, SR here, RS here, and SS. These are the possible ones, but some of them will have replica. Okay, guys? Check this out. The way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbons are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Suppose this is with trans. With trans, if at all I write this group up, this group down here, like this. Okay. Now, if this is R, this could be R as well. I'm just taking as a guess, okay? And if this is R, this could be S as well in trans. And if this is S, this could be R as well. And if this is S, the other one could be S as well. Clear? Now, can you observe these two beta? Are they same or different? With respect to this, just rotate 180 degrees, bring it here. You will get the same molecule. You have not changed trans. Trans is being trans only. RS and SR will become same, na beta? Right.
So the first and last one also identical, no, sir?
No, they are different. They are enantiomeric pairs.
Okay, sir.
You can't
Yes, sir.
superimpose.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Observe carefully. They are enantiomeric pairs. But these two are not.
Yes,
These two are same. Same thing will happen with cis also, na beta? SR and RS will be same. So these two are same. These two are same. These two are same. These two are enantiomers. And these two are enantiomers. That's why I said keep writing and check. Okay. That will be easier to get the right answer. So therefore, give me the answer now fast. We have to cover a lot of stuff. Be with me on this. Don't waste time. Wait. Number of stereoisomers, how many? 6 we got. Enantiomeric pairs, how many we got? We got only 2. 15. Dash stereomers, how many?
13.
13. Fractions.
2, sir.
Array, check properly. Everyone, don't make tomorrow. No one make many mistakes in these questions. Okay, You're practicing so much. Cis and trans anyway you can separate. This will come as one pair. This will come as one pair. Two you got separated. This is separate. This is separate. No, this is cis and trans. Definitely we can separate cis and trans. They are dash stereomers. So how many fractions you will get? 4.
Center of symmetry is there, sir.
It is not there, sir. Check properly, sir. No center of symmetry, beta.
So plane of symmetry is there.
Plane of symmetry.
Sir,
Okay. You were supposed to take plane of symmetry. Yeah.
sir, are those two bromines are outside or both inside or one outside, one inside?
Array, you can take any numbers. I just want total number of possible cases. You don't just make 2 power 3 beta because there are a lot of symmetrical ones here, no? So you have to draw and check. Do some common sense here. So we'll put both of this and let me see these two changing. I'm the first writing all the possible ones, then we'll discuss which to eliminate. Okay.
So 1 and 4 are same now, sir.
I am writing possible ones, beta. We'll eliminate all of them. Don't worry. Here and here. Yeah. So because it is 3 chiral centers, we should expect 8 of them, correct? These are the 8 possible ones we can expect. Yes, dear everyone. I think all of you got the idea of how many to expect. Now let us check out giving all of them some names: A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H. Try to eliminate first. Okay. Can you see A and D are exactly same, right? Because they are mesoforms. Yes, they're mesoforms. So here there is a plane of symmetry. So they both will be mesoforms. A and B are mesoforms. Next, let us see B and C also. B and C are also mesoforms. This is one of my favorite questions. This will clear all the concepts. A and B is also meso. Sorry, A and D. A and D is meso. B and C is meso. Right? Next. Check out
GF, sir.
which one, beta?
G and F.
G and F. Yeah. Check out these two. Correct. G and F. G and F. What are they?
Yes, sir.
Same, sir.
Same.
Right. So they are same. Correct. So identical. They are not mesoform. Please be
Identical.
careful with it. So G and F are identical. Right. Then H and E. E and H or H and E. Those are also
Identical.
identical. Very good, beta. Right. So how many did we eliminate now? 4 we eliminated, no? These two are same. So I'll take one of them. These two are same. These two are same. These two are same. So I'll take one of them. These two are same. I'll take one of them. These two are same. I'll take one of them. So total how many? 4 of them. Correct, beta? Only one pair here. You can take any because these two, this G and H or E and F, any of these two are enantiomeric pairs. Number of fractions. Well, we are not worried about number of molecules. No, just tell me about the fractions. How many fractions we can separate? Can we separate enantiomer? Oh my God, screen is again lagging. Yes, beta.
3.
First, sir.
3, beta. Correct. Number of dash stereomeric pairs you will get. Number of
3, sir.
dash stereomeric pairs. 3 pairs you will get. Correct. Got that, everybody?
Sir, instead of doing this way, can we assume by taking SS and RR configurations at the bromine and bromines? Sir, in that way, how can we decide the number of enantiomeric pairs and number of fractions we receive, sir?
Okay. Visualization is difficult. That's why in cyclic cases, I usually go with the structures better. Okay. Structures will give a better visualization. That's all. Otherwise, you can always start with this. You can take this as first S and S, right? Then this won't be a chiral center. Clear? Then
Yes,
R
sir.
and R. Then this won't be a chiral center. So you got 2 forms. Next, you'll take this as RS, then R, SR and R. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Like that you can
Yeah.
put it.
How to decide enantiomeric pairs, sir?
How to decide enantiomeric pair?
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
All of them should be different, na beta? If this is R, S and this is R, the exactly opposite of that, R, S and R will be S, R, S. These two will be enantiomeric pairs.
Sir, isn't RR and SS enantiomeric pairs, sir?
Meso form, na beta? The minute you put it as RR, it has become meso. So do this. How many mono derivatives you can get? So first, what are the compounds I can get? Check out. I'll do one of them. Next, you can try this. These are the two possible ones. First, I'm writing only structural ones. Okay. So 1 chlorobutane, 2 chlorobutane. These are the two possible ones. If at all I do monochlorination. Now, these two molecules are completely different. So suppose if at all I ask you total number of structural isomers. Structural isomers. Then answer should be how much beta? 2. Okay. Now the question would be asked like this. Total isomers. Now, total isomers, if at all is being asked, you have to take it as both structural and stereo also. Now you can see this is a chiral center. So this will have two of them, R and S. Clear? So those two are different compounds and this one is the third compound. So how many total total isomers are? 3 now.
Sir, there would be another possibility, no, sir. ISO. In first one, if the last metal comes into
on this N-hexane, don't break carbon-carbon. On this N-hexane, how many monochlorinations can be done? How many optically active beta? Out of these all compounds, how many optically active you have? 2 of them. Okay. Next, how many fractions you can get? This is the most important part in the question. In JEE Advanced, this has been most asked. The number of fractions.
2, sir.
2, sir.
Fractions. How many you can get? 2 of them. Very good. I think all of you got an idea now. Make a note of it. We'll try next one. Next one is more interesting. Faster, everyone.
Sir, here 2 fractions are those 2 optically active ones.
No, that is enantiomer. Out of that, one and this one, both can be separated. So here, how many?
3.
3 structural, sir.
3
Structural. Right. So I'll get 1 chlorine here, 1 chlorine here, 1 chlorine here. Right, beta. So this is one molecule. These are 2 molecules because this is a chiral center. And this is 1 molecule.
Sir, 2 means another will be its mirror image.
Yes, beta. Another will be its mirror image. Because it is a chiral center. So how many structural we will get? 3. How many
3.
total?
4.
Total isomers.
4.
Total isomers 4. Very good. Next, optically active.
2.
Very good. Optically active, 2 of them.
2.
Next, how many fractions you can get?
3.
All 3 can be easily separated out because they will have different boiling point. One very interesting question here that would be on mono substitution and alkenes. Suppose if there is an alkene, how do we do this? NBS is a bromine giving agent known as N-bromosuccinamide. Wherever you see NBS, it is going to put bromine at the allylic position always. Okay, so I'll just write it as a note here. Allylic position. Now check this. First case, if you have here, what do we get? This is one allylic position. So bromine will get attached there. Okay. Is there any other possible way? Basically, first there is a dot which is called a radical. A radical will form, and on that radical Br will get attached. This is how you will get it. Okay. So you have to, and this radical can be resonance stabilized, although you may not know this concept yet. Just I'm giving you an idea that you can shift this double bond and dot will come here. Got it? So there are two possibilities. One, the dot, if it comes here, bromine can come here, but these two are same only, na beta? You write this way or this way, it is same. So there are two possibilities, both of them are same. And is this a chiral center? It is not a chiral center. So how many molecules you will get with respect to this propene? Only one molecule you will get, one product you will get. Only one
Total
possible.
also.
Total also one. Correct. See this case now. This is the most interesting case. For this, how many products you will get, including stereo? Okay, this is the most asked question, correct, from this section. Check out. First, what you do now, you write the radical form first. So at all allylic position, this is allylic, put one radical. This is allylic, put one radical form. And after you bring that double bond here, because if you see with respect to this, I can make resonance stabilization here. So I can push the double bond here, so radical will come here. Again, this is allylic. Here also, we will get allylic on this side. This is allylic. So these are four possible radical forms which I can get. Okay. So with respect to that, we will see how many products you can get. First this, and let us write what are the products I can get here. So on that radical, I can get bromine substituted here. Here I can get bromine substituted here, right? Sorry, double bond here. And with respect to this, bromine can get substituted at this position. And with respect to this, bromine can be substituted. These are the four possible cases which I can get. Now check out if there is any chiral center in all of them. First, there is a chiral center here, correct? There is a chiral center here, right? And next, there are no chiral centers in either of the cases. Everybody got that? Now tell me, if at all I take this as 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, how many structural I'm getting? How many structure? Only 2. Check out carefully. Only 2. These two are same only. These two are same only. So I will get only 2 structural. Now check again properly. See,
3.
With respect to this, I will get 2. With respect to get, I will get 2. But one of them will be same, na? As a total.
Optical 2 only, sir.
2 only, na beta? This is the same chiral center. Correct. Here, those 2 possibilities will be same as these 2 possibilities.
Only 2 optical, sir.
So only 2. So total, this would be 2 here. But these 2 are same as these 2. Clear? So here 2 plus 1, total 3. Optically active, how many? Optically active, only 2.
Sir,
Fractions? Yes, tell me.
sir, total isomers 4 no, sir.
How come 4?
Sir, first 2 cases are same no, sir.
These 2 are same.
Sir, then in first case 2 isomers will be formed no, sir.
These 2 are same, exactly same. They are no different. They are identical. Buddy, this you will do. Everyone, this has maximum number of cases you will get. Okay, so structure only you will get 6 to 6. So then think about stereo, you will get a lot of. Now coming to the last part, which is D and L configurations. How to write D and L configurations. Although this is a part of biomolecules, got it? We just need a brief hint of what is capital D, capital N, small d and small l. That's all we need to know from this isomerism chapter. Rest everything about glucose, fructose, we have a complete different chapter, so don't worry about it. When you take glucose C6H12O6, this is the Fischer projection of glucose. 6 carbons, and on the second carbon OH will be on the right hand side, third carbon on the left hand side, fourth, fifth on the right hand side. This is how glucose would look like. Okay. Now in glucose, if you check out the configuration at each and every point, got it? It would have different configuration. And if you see this fifth carbon, right? If you see on this fifth carbon, here OH is on the right hand side and that is a very important part for us now, where OH is on the right hand side, right? This OH being on the right hand side is taken as a reference from D-glyceraldehyde. Now what is this D-glyceraldehyde? Check out, this is the structure of glyceraldehyde, where you have carbon, one CHO up, OH, CH2OH and H. Acha, what is a sugar, by the way? Sugar means nothing but polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone. Any polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones are called as sugars. Whatever the sugar which we eat or everything, those are all made up of what? Polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketones. Clear, everyone? Now you can see glyceraldehyde is also polyhydroxy and an aldehyde, and this is the smallest form of sugar we can get. So this is the smallest polyhydroxyaldehyde which you can get. Okay, that's why this is taken as a reference. And in this reference, if you observe how the configuration is, let us assign the priority here. This is priority 1, next priority 2, priority 3 and priority 4, correct? Based on CIP rule. Now I have to bring 4 down. So if at all I have to bring 4 down, what should I do? I have to make even number of exchanges. So 4 and 3, 1 and 2. I made the exchange. Now see how 1, 2 and 3 are moving. They are moving clockwise. Clockwise means R configured, correct? So this carbon is actually R configured. If you have a single chiral center, everybody listen to this carefully. If you have a single chiral center, then if you see the if you observe its rotation in the polarimeter, it would make a clockwise rotation, which means it will make dextro rotation. Is this clear, everybody? So R will always complement dextro rotation, and this is only valid for which one? Single chiral center. S will complement for levo rotation, again for single chiral center. Clear? And glyceraldehyde is a single chiral center carbon. So this will show, if you check out in the polarimeter analyzer, you will see that it will give a positive rotation, which means dextro rotation, correct? So this is a dextro rotating sugar. Clear, everybody? This form is a dextro rotating sugar. Now between these two carbons, see this carbon and this CHO carbon, if at all I keep adding more number of CHOH, 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 I will get a family of sugars. Is that clear? So from glyceraldehyde, if I keep adding CHOH, 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 and I'll keep on adding like this, as many number of carbons you add, those many number of family of sugars you will get. Okay, which means this glucose, if you observe carefully, it is derived from glyceraldehyde only, because these 3 parts are exactly same here also. So which means glucose is derived from the family of glyceraldehyde. Understood, everybody? And which type of a glyceraldehyde it was? It was a dextro rotating glyceraldehyde, right? It was a dextro rotating glyceraldehyde. So this glyceraldehyde is dextro rotatory. Clear? So we take this as the reference and we call this molecule as capital D glucose. This capital D comes with the reference of glyceraldehyde, and it has nothing to do with optical rotation of glucose, because glucose has 4 chiral centers. Optically it may go left or right, we don't know. Understood? But this capital D is coming from the reference of glyceraldehyde. Okay. You may have seen glucon D, right? Capital D is written, not small d there, right? That capital D is coming from that D glucose. In fact, every glucose, wherever you see, there will be capital D written. Fructose, sucrose, anything. Why? Because they are all derivatives of glyceraldehyde, in which OH is on the right hand side. Think that way. Clear, everybody? So that will be D-glyceraldehyde. Similarly, this will become D-glucose. Capital D glucose. If you take fructose also, I'll just draw the structure of fructose. I've kept it here, I guess. Yeah. Now here, if you see the glyceraldehyde, This is a D-glyceraldehyde, and the mirror image of that, where OH will come on to the left, that will be L-glyceraldehyde. So D and L-glyceraldehyde. And in case if you take a sugar where fifth carbon OH is on the left hand side, that is going to be L-glucose. Naturally consuming, humans, we humans and most of the animals which consume glucose or carbohydrates are D-glucose or D-carbohydrates only. We do not consume L. Okay. Everybody understood that? I've written that here. R complements dextrorotatory, S complements levorotatory. Okay. So for example, if you see this one, correct. So here, what kind of a sugar is this, everybody? Is it a D sugar or L sugar?
D.
D sugar. So this is a D sugar. Got it? And what about here? OH is on the left hand side. So this is
L
L
sugar.
sugar. Okay. Fructose. Check out. In fructose, OH is on the right hand side. So what kind of a sugar it is? D sugar.
D sugar.
That's why it is called D fructose. I guess you understood this point. What is D and L? Now the same thing can be derived for amino acids also. Alpha amino acids. What do you mean by alpha amino acids? Suppose if you have COOH and some R group here, NH2 group here and H here. Correct? This time you can see NH2 is on the right hand side, just like OH here, NH2 is on the right hand side. And this is the alpha position with respect to the acid. That's why it is called alpha amino acid. And this is called as D amino acid. D amino acid. Got it? And its mirror image, if you take it, L amino acid. See, amino acids are nothing but proteins. Understood? This is the basic amino acid. If you keep on extending this R here, we'll get different forms of proteins. And amazingly, all the proteins which we consume, got it? So we get protein source from many foods which we eat, correct? Right. So even our body itself will grow some proteins. And amazingly, most of the proteins which we consume are L type. Understood? So the proteins which we consume are L amino acids, while glucose or carbohydrates which we consume are D sugars. I think all of you got an idea now. Yeah. What is D and L? That's all you need to know from this chapter. Okay. Rest you have the complete analysis of what are proteins or carbohydrates next. Okay. Last thing is about specific rotation. Check out. What is specific rotation? Suppose when the plane polarized light is passed through a solution, alright, and if you get certain angle theta, what does this theta dependent on? It depends upon length. First of all, how much is the length of the test tube which you're length of the tube which you are taking, in which the solution is kept. What is the concentration of that solution? Next, what is the lambda that you are passing? Monochromatic light which you are passing, what is its wavelength? It depends upon temperature, pressure, and in case if there is any gas mixture here, it also depend upon its mole fraction. But anyways, mainly this theta, if you check out in our regular cases, it depends upon two important factors. One is length and concentration. Rest of the factors are slightly ignorant. So the most important dependency is on the length of the tube and concentration. So we can say that this theta will be dependent on the length and an concentration. So if I remove this proportionality, I will get a proportionality constant alpha, and that is called as specific rotation. And specific rotation alpha can be defined as theta by L into C, length into concentration. Okay. And what is the standard polarimeter which you take? In the polarimeter, the solution length, the tube length will always be 10 centimeters. That is the standard. And concentration, we always take standard as 1 gram per ml. right? When you take these two, then alpha would be equal to theta. Is that clear? We will write this length in terms of decimeters, okay? So 10 centimeter is same as 1 decimeter. So alpha would be equal to the theta per 1 decimeter per 1 gram per ml concentration. Everybody understood what is alpha now? Alpha is called specific rotation, and this is how we check out the specific rotation. Clear? Now suppose if you were to calculate what is the specific rotation if concentration and theta observed is given, length is given. How do we calculate? Specific rotation is equal to theta by concentration into length. Theta value is how much? 10 degrees divided by concentration given as 4 gram per 10 ml, correct? And 4 by 10 I have to write because that was defined for 1 ml. So 4 by 10 into length 1 decimeter cube. So what should be the value here? So the 10 goes up 25 degrees. So 25 degrees is the specific rotation for that particular solution. Okay. So that 25 degrees is a constant value, right? It is like a constant for different concentrations and different lengths. I think all of you understand the basic physics, how to use it. Yeah. Now, suppose in the same question, what can be asked to you in JEE? Once it could be asked, okay, now double the concentration and tell me what will be the optical rotation. Tell me how much it will be.
12.5.
12.5.
Check again. Concentration is doubled. Then what will be the optical rotation? You have to find out theta.
Sir, alpha SP remains constant.
Alpha remains constant, na beta?
Okay, sir.
For that same solution I'm talking. For that same solution, alpha will remain constant.
Sir, 20, sir.
20, very good. Okay. So what will be theta? Alpha into C into L. Alpha value is how much? 25. Double the concentration. So concentration will become how much? 2 times of 4 by 10.
By 10.
Yes. And length is 1 decimeter cube. So how much you are getting? Correct. Next one. If concentration is half, what will be the theta value?
5, sir.
5 degrees, sir.
5, sir.
Right. Very good.
5, sir.
If length is 1/10 of the original,
1 degree, sir.
then it is 1 degree. Very
1 degree.
Very good. Next, if length is 2 times, so then what will be the rotation? That is alpha. What will be the alpha?
12.5. 12.5.
Right. Now this time alpha would be 12.5. Very good. Correct. Next, if 6 by 10 is added, 6 grams by 10 ml is added, then what will be the observed rotation? Then what will be the theta value?
25.
No, 25 is already there into, okay, concentration into length, na beta? We have to theta alpha into concentration into length. Now what will be the new concentration? See, 4 by 10 was already there. Now we added 6 by 10.
4 by 10 plus 1.
Very good. Into 1. So how much this would be?
25. So 25 only, sir.
1 minute, 1 minute. Moles you have to add, na beta? 4 plus 6 by 10 plus 10. Volume should be added, na? Because you are adding 10 ml extra. You forgot that.
Yes.
Plus
Right.
6. 10 by 10 plus 10.
So how much? 12.5 degrees. Right.
12.
Got it, everybody? Next. If minus 2 gram per 10 ml is taken, minus 2 gram per 10 ml means you just add. Here it is basically you have to subtract, but
1 by
like
10.
adding only. So what do we get? 25 into same thing. 4 minus 2 divided by 10 plus 10.
2.5.
Right, into 1.
2.5.
So that will be 2.5. Very good. Okay. Last thing. If 6 gram per 10 ml is added and this is subtracted, then that would be 25.
4 degrees, sir.
4 plus 6 minus 2 divided by 30. Okay.
4 degrees.
To 1. So how much? 4 degrees. Very good. Clear on this? I think all of you know how to do the questions on specific rotation. Just go through this. It's a very simple concept. It's not anything complicated. Okay. Last thing is the optical purity. So basically, if you have any particular configuration, how do we need to check? Suppose on the dextro, if suppose if we have a solution where we will only have one particular compound, one particular enantiomer. Okay, I'll take with an example. Let us say I have OH, CHO, CH2OH, and H. I'm taking like a glyceraldehyde. Okay, OH, CHO, H, and CH2OH. Suppose if this enantiomer is not there, I have only 100% of this. Okay, which means this is pure, correct? So this is called a pure enantiomer. If I take either this enantiomer or this enantiomer, any of one of them, and 100% only that is present in the solution, you call it as a pure enantiomer, correct? So because it is optically active, we usually call it as optically pure enantiomer. Suppose if there is 100% of this molecule only, then whatever rotation that comes, if it is dextro rotation that it is coming, 100% it will come off that only, and levo rotation will be 0. There won't be any molecule that will give levo rotation. Now, in case if you have 90% of this and 10% of this, the 90% of the molecule will give you dextro rotation, 10% will give you levo rotation. But you know that if this is, imagine this guys, if every molecule is giving 25 degrees angle, here every molecule will give you minus 25 degrees angle. No? There is some amount of cancellation of angle because of some percentage here and some percentage here. How much is that? 10% of this and 10% of this. Both will get cancelled off each other. So angle because of this 10%, 80% I'll write it as this way, beta. Understand this. 80% plus 10%. Okay. Now what I'm saying, this 10% and this 10% will cancel off their angles or no? So 20% of the solution will go for waste without any rotation. So the rotation overall comes only because of the 80% of the solution. Yes or no? So that 80% is called enantiomeric excess. Okay. The percentage through which angle is decided is called enantiomeric excess. Okay.
Sir, would the deflection be like 25 degrees or less than 25?
Anything. I'm just taking that as an example. It could be 100 degrees also, 120 degrees also.
Sir, I'm telling like if if it's 100%, the deflection is 25 degrees. Now, if we are adding 90 and 10, would we get 25% of 80 or will we get less than 25?
Less than that. If we have 40% of this, okay, and 60% of this, then what can I say here? Oh, this, yeah.
80% waste, sir.
80% waste. So only 20% will be coming from the rotation. So that is that percentage which rotation is decided on, that is called enantiomeric excess. Okay. And the waste percentage which is not giving an angle, that is called racemic mixture. Suppose if you have 25 and 75, 50% wasted, 50% will only give you rotation. Now check this. If you have 50% and 50%, both of them are 50%, 100% waste, so zero rotation, correct? Such kind of a mixture is called purely racemic mixture. I hope you understood what is racemic mixture. So finally, I'm trying to come at that point. What is racemic mixture? Just try to put it on your own words. What is racemic mixture?
100% amount of mixture which is not
correct. Optically inactive solution. Optically inactive solution where 50% of dextro and 50% of both enantiomeric mixture are present. Clear, beta? And racemic mixture will always be optically inactive. And why it is inactive? Because 50% will be of one particular enantiomer, 50% will be of its mirror image. And both will compensate each other in terms of angles, and overall resultant angle will always come at as 0. That's why it is optically inactive. Now, based on that, you can calculate optical purity in terms of a formula also. Optical purity or enantiomeric excess. I can write this as D minus L by D plus L. You can see that. And this is mod into 100. Clear or not? Check out. If suppose if this is percentage is given, D percentage, suppose if D percentage given is 90, 90 minus 10 divided by 100 into 100. So that is what we get as 80, right? Clear? So this could become like a formula also. Or this can also be written as, suppose angle is given to you, then you will write it as observed rotation by specific rotation into 100. Observed rotation into specific rotation by 100. This is enantiomeric excess. I hope all of you understood what is racemic mixture, what is enantiomeric excess, and how to perceive their percentages in terms of rotation. Okay, we have discussed the amine inversion, but just with in terms of racemic mixture, I'll just tell that last minute. Okay, see, amine inversion we have already discussed, right? That if you have taken any amine form with a lone pair, okay, because of their lone pair repulsions, they go through a transition state, and through transition state, again it can get back to this form or this form, and both will be 50-50 percentage. So now you can see these two are enantiomeric mixtures, 50% of this, 50% of this. So if this rotates by angle x degrees, and this will rotate by angle minus x degrees, right? So overall the angle would be 0. That's why it is optically inactive. Correct? So this is called amine inversion. Everyone got this? What is amine inversion? Right? We have discussed this. Okay. So in amine inversion, if you check out few cases like A, B, C, D, E, F, if you check out which cases there is amine inversion or not, here there would be amine inversion. Here there will be amine inversion because they are all straight chains. This will also have amine inversion. Here lone pair is participating in resonance. So here there won't be lone pair available only. Amides, we have discussed this before. Lone pair won't be available. Here it is a ring form, no? Ring form cannot open up. So this won't undergo for inversion. So here there is no inversion taking place. This will be pure form. This will be pure. This won't be racemic mixture. Same is the case here also. This will be pure form. No inversion happens because it is in a ring form. Okay. Last case, open case, open molecule. Only one case it will be pure form, which is tert-butyl. Remember how we discussed about cyclohexane, where tert-butyl does not give flipping. Here also it won't give flipping because tert-butyl is too bulky to give flipping. Hence, this will also exist in pure form.